Gambit, a PvEvP game mode released during the Forsaken expansion, has died off in popularity since its debut. It has had many major updates, changing the game mode for better or worse. For new lights, the game mode may be an interesting core playlist activity which they will soon figure out is not very populated. This may cause them to drift away from the game mode, causing them to never visit the game mode again. To many, that would be a good thing, but to a few, it is disheartening. I am not a Gambit enthusiast. I'm personally in the middle, and I will never play it unless I have to, which is exactly what happened when a friend of mine wanted to do the Malfeasance quest on one of his characters, also to get the Breakneck Auto Rifle, which feels really good, in PvP especially. After not playing Gambit since the Witch Queen, I did not expect any changes because Gambit never gets updated, and since this is the case and Bungie does not want to update the game mode, they should completely remove it, right? This is the question that the community has been asking since the newest Gambit update came out, and it may never be answered. Until Gambit is updated or completely removed, it is a game mode that new lights will have to play to get pinnacles and complete certain quests. So here's how to properly play Gambit. So this playstyle is highly recommended for people with communication with their team, because with randos, like, you can't really speak unless you have party chat, which they might not listen to anyway. But first, you want to choose an invader for your team. I recommend this to be the best player in your team when it comes to PvP. This player will be the only invader unless you need a player to desperately get through the portal to get a kill. The other 3 players in your team will focus on getting modes and killing the primeval. When the round starts, every player will go and get modes, then bank as soon as everyone collectively has 40 modes. There will be a bar at the top which shows you how many modes your team collectively has. You want to bank modes quickly so you can block your enemies from banking and so your invader can get rid of the opposing team's modes. You basically have to do the same thing until you reach 80 modes, the only difference being you want your invader to invade when your team deposits at least 2 blockers so they can drain the opposing team's modes, or when the opposing team has a lot of modes and you want to get rid of them. Also, make sure you invade both times before your team summons the primeval, otherwise you'll lose the invasion. When your team summons the primeval, the invasion portal will only start opening after the opposing team has also summoned the primeval and will only reactivate after a certain amount of time. You want to make sure you invade either when the enemy has actually done damage to their primeval so you can remove their progress, or time it so you can stop the enemy team from defeating their envoys, the taken wizards, so the damage is later. For the rest of your team, one of them should stay next to the primeval to get ready for damage and the other 2 go after the envoys. Repeat this step until you win. When regarding the enemy invasions, you should hide if you have a lot of modes, and your teammates with next to no modes should go after the invader. If they invade during primeval phase, your entire team should try to kill them unless your primeval is low health, in which case just kill it. So, is Gambit actually a good game mode? Well, I honestly think that it is a game mode that could be better. The PvEvP idea was truly unique in Destiny and served as a middle ground between the 2 main game modes. But Gambit is outdated now and will not be changed anytime soon. Why is it bad though? It's bad because as a solo player you can't really change the tide of the match very easily. If you've got a good invader, you might be able to pull off some clutches and win the round, but that is still highly unlikely. Destiny being a game where the majority of players are solo players, you won't easily get a team into Gambit, and therefore you can only win with the luck of how good your Blueberry teammates are. This is why Gambit is widely disliked. At least why I think it's widely disliked. To make Gambit better, Bungie would have to make it less team-oriented and easier for solo players to win. Similar to Crucible, they would have to add new game modes which would change how you play Gambit. One of the best changes they could make is to combine Dares of Eternity and Gambit. 2 teams would spawn in the Dares of Eternity arena and race to defeat a final boss first. After each section, or a certain amount of time, a portal would open up, allowing a player to invade the other team and stop them from making progress. I feel as though this would be an interesting game mode which people would enjoy since it takes much less team coordination to do a Dares of Eternity run. Overall, Gambit is a forgotten game mode which new lights have to suffer through to get certain loot. It could be improved, but it is entirely Bungie's choice if they would like to. If there are any changes to Gambit you would like to see implemented, then sure. Otherwise, have a good day.